Hated what my elders told me, don't stay at this job cause you can change with me. Now tell me what's your dreams now if you cannot see. I got a canopy to block all lies, disguise this light that's telling you you cannot be. Hated what my siblings told me, you a hypocrite, took Hippocratic oath to call myself out and make it a joke. I do not really care cause I'm not scared of what's not really there. Even when talking God, I gotta pride cause if he's really there, he's a tough loving type. I think in my heart I'm feeling apathy. Actually depression is just anger spread thinly. Distracted with this knowledge I realize I'm feeling empty. Without a social life my mind feel like a penitentiary. Is it right and wrong when opinions are pretty plenty? Get rid of ideas of who I am. This life is way too short to be so serious. I know I'm infinite, I am aware of this. I look at stars and I see Sirius. We in Aquarius, just out the water, we delirious. We know the world run off and we all trying to put our periods. The worst thing we do to ourselves is give in to the eeriness. Hated what my elders told me, don't stay at this job cause you can change with me. Now tell me what's your dreams now if you cannot see. I got a canopy.
Hey guys, today I want to talk about the state of matter, or rather the states of your matters. So the things that are important to you and how you experience them and how they have a correspondence to the quality of certain materials. And so let's dive into this. So how I like to see time is that the past is solid, the future is liquid, and right now the now is gas. Now the reason why I say that is because when you look at the past, that's really all you can do. You can observe behind this thick plane of glass. You can mold it around, but I mean, there's no point. What is the past has happened, and therefore it remains structured. It remains rigid. So that's why the past is solid. The future is liquid because it can branch out and reach to why do people always do that shit here? People just start honking and there's like no reason for it. I did have a hell of a lot of space on the road, but anyways, the future is liquid because it really can branch out into any direction, and whatever direction it ends up going is gonna nurture who you are right now. Even if the experience that you do have turns out and appears as if it's like, damn, this is a really shit moment, because you're gonna look past that later present, the future, and be like, damn, I'm low-key kind of glad I had that experience, because then I wouldn't have thought in this way and I wouldn't have got over that thing. And so it really all works out because this life is circular. This reality moves in spirals. I was looking at one of my notes that I had on the last video and how I said that energy or consciousness is a collection of dots, or consciousness is energy gathered at a reference point, but there is no real points in space. It's not really accurate to say that a dot once created, a point of reference, turns into a line, because it doesn't actually create lines. It's when a dot connects to another dot, or that specific ratio that we call, I almost bust my ass. That specific ratio we call the Fibonacci pattern, where it's just in between the good and the bad, and there is no real opinion. It's just math, and it does this thing because it's pretty much the mind of God or creator. One sec, trying to cross the street. I believe it's like 1.668, something like that, that ratio. Anyways, the point is that it doesn't create a line when creation first starts. It actually, it's a curve. And that's so important for understanding why we have geometry, like why things look the way they are. Because if we have things as aligned and we believe that this world was created off the angles and things that are put in place right now as societal, I guess, guidelines are meant to be rigid, are meant to be straight, and are meant to always be in a way that there's unfixable errors. And that shit is so wrong. We have fractals because everything moves in curves. And so that's why when we say the past is solid, the future is liquid, that's why we say the gas is now, because you can be in either or state. You can be either of the two state changes, because in the now you're gaseous. You're kind of just floating around. And it's up to you whether you want to remain in that state so that you can keep going back and forth and you can observe and use each for its particular function, because you can't truly always stay in the now. And I think staying in the now is a recognition of your ability to adapt. It's not sitting in the idea that only what's in front of me matters. It's that I'm so immersed in what's in front of me that I'll remember to use the past and present, or the past and future when it's needed. So when I feel stagnant, I'm aware of the now because I'm feeling my emotions. So I use my faculty of the future, to get you a drive or a vision, something to push you forward. Would you say that's bad because you're out of the moment? No, that doesn't make any sense. And alternatively, if you're trying to solve a problem, are you going to stay in the present by doing the same shit over and over because you're not looking at the past? No, that sounds stupid. You're going to remember what you did in the past. You're going to recall what others did. You're going to study history or whatever. And then you're going to prevent that from happening again. So, yeah, that's just my whole idea on it. I never thought being in the now or the present moment was about being obsessed with what's happening in the minuteness of every second. But instead, I just said excuse me to a fucking sliding door. Like I was saying, I don't think being in the now or being in the present moment, as is being shown to the mass awareness, is about focusing on the minuteness of every second. I think it's about, using whatever works for you in the moment. And it's going to be a mix of those three things: the present moment, the past, and the future. Because if you think about it, they really are all the same. Excuse me. Like, the only thing that distinguishes right now from 2 seconds ago was the movement, the time and the space. But yeah, that's all I had to talk about. Looking for an HDMI to iPhone adapter. Past is solid, stays rigid. It can't be used for that long. The future is liquid. It could be used indefinitely. So you want to make sure you're aware of when you get caught up in it. And lastly, the present's gaseous. So that's how you experience both of those states. It's the in-between. But it's also the all. It's the accumulation of both. And that's why your perspective always changes. You should always be comfortable with changing your mind, because literally that's how things grow. So yeah, have a good day. Stay abrasive.
A couple days ago I couldn't speak on this, cause look up at the room. Look how it consumes, it creates typhoons. Watch it change the mood, I can't bottle this up, but watch me go kaboom. My body parts are everywhere, I'm feeling like Osiris. If I go off to anywhere, I'm riding on papyrus. I love this life because because it's so mysterious. Baby, tell me, why are you so serious? I love this life because it's so mysterious. Baby, tell me, why are you so serious?